It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. You're now watching the Hazleton Area School District Report. This is going to be a very interesting show because it has to do with your money. Yes, it has to do with your money. So we're going to find out today where's all this money going? Is it being used properly, etc.? And the reason why we're doing this show is I'd like to answer some of the questions that people say, they're doing this, they're wasting money here, they're doing this. And considering what's happening in the country today, my friends, of all the billions of dollars that they're finding that is being wasted in fraud and you name it, where's the accountability? All right, so I wanted to focus in on the Hazleton Area School District because, as you know, when we're talking about education in the country, we're talking about, where they're really getting hammered, that, it's not up to, the educational value is not up to speed. But that's why we focus on the Hazleton Area District, and we see how we stand above all that stuff, which is great. Now, with $242 million budget, a lot of that certainly goes to salaries, but there's people that have control over that, okay? Not only the superintendent, but we have Mr. Anthony Bonomo, we have Linda DeCosmo, we have Jeff Kubitz, we have Helen McBride, we have Joseph Zeller, we have Dr. Childs, we have James Chapman, we have Joseph Barletta, and we have Ed Szymanski. Now let me just say this. I've been around a long time, okay? As you all know, I served as chairman of the board of the community college. We built a college. I know all the politics. I know all the stuff that's going on. We have a great board. We have a great school board. All the people I mentioned, okay, are sincere and honest and are working for you. That's what I've seen. I've done over 6,000 shows. Sitting on my set have been many phonies, fakes, trying to lie to the public. But we have a solid school board, and I want to tell you, it's great because they're managing our money. Now, with all that stuff being said, I want to welcome Dr. Uplinger on the show. Well, it's interesting. When you have a well-oiled machine running, okay, it's great. When you have people who come on school board members who come on with an agenda,
correct,
doctor, then that's when the public pays the price.
Correct.
You see? And that's where people sometimes may not understand how valuable management is. I mean, I could pick a lot of board members. You look at Jeff Kubitz, okay, the experience he brings to the board, okay, Joe Barletta. I mean, forget about it. He brings tons of
Sure.
And I don't want to shortchange anybody else. Szymanski, you name all these people that are on the board. It's important because they give you direction. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely.
How do you view our board?
They're fantastic. As you were saying earlier, they're open, they're transparent, they do what needs to be done. They allow me to do my job. That's what they hired me to do. Mm-hmm. So they've been fantastic over the last 8 years, allowing me to do what's most important for the district. Obviously coming back with recommendations to them for hires and different programs that we've implemented and things of that nature, but they're always there and they're always very, very supportive.
We all welcome constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I've said this on many times, nobody has a monopoly on ideas. But when I've seen throughout the years where the public gets hurt, and you look at what's happening in the government today, whether you agree or disagree, I'm not being political here, I'm just saying what they found, the billions of dollars of waste.
Right.
And here we have our veterans begging for $19 a month so they could, it just breaks your heart to see and yet, some people are fighting that. They're fighting the fact that they're finding these frauds. And then you really begin to wonder, why are they fighting this?
Right.
They're wasting billions of our dollars. Why are some politicians fighting that? You wonder about that. So then you look at a Hazleton Area School District, and you look at, for example, people out there whose homes are assessed at $20,000, $50,000. In Luzerne County, we're talking about $13 per thousand. Okay, so if your house is assessed at $100,000, that's $1,300. Okay, that you have to pay. Am I getting my money's worth?
Right.
And that's where we have to look and see when we look at education. So breaking down the different departments, you have 16 schools.
Correct.
You have 13,700 students.
Yes,
Okay.
and climbing every day.
Okay, so with that, you're talking about it costs this district roughly $17,600 per student.
Correct.
Okay, now what do you tell the public, or in terms of all the departments that you have to be involved with? How do you stay on top of that? How do you know that we're getting the best return for our dollar?
We implement many different programs across the district, and it's not just academic. We have our career center that helps implement trades for our students. We have the Cyber Academy that has different ways for students to learn. We have different programs that are in our elementary schools that, again, they address not only academics, but they also address behavior issues that some students may have. So we're looking at educating the entire child and not just a small fraction of them, or a small fraction of that child. So we utilize every dollar that comes into the district very fiscally in providing those programs. And I've always said this, and I've said it before, that the programs that we implement are necessary. They're good to promote the well-rounded child, if you will. We've never taken programs away under my administration, and I'm hoping that we never do. We've always added to. That gives additional opportunities for the students once they leave us. What can they do in their future lives once they leave the district? So we utilize every single dollar to the best of our ability in providing that education to that whole child, and not just a small portion of them.
Since we started the show, people, we're here at the Laurel Mall, and I try to go and say hi to different people. So people will say, Sam, ask them this, or where is this going, or how come this is happening? And what are some of the common questions or concerns that you may have seen, or that people will ask you or comment on? Because that's why a school board member runs for election. He has to go and he has to talk about the constituents, and these constituents will tell the school board member what they see. Right. And so the member comes and says, all right, look, these are concerns we have in the community. How do we address them? What are some of the concerns that you see?
One of the largest concerns that keeps coming to me, or not all the time, but often, is how safe are the buildings? They're undeniably safe. We have a number of districts that come and view what we have in place, the different weapons detectors and camera systems and things of that nature that they would like to implement. We have our own police department, we have our own security department. We're very large, so we have to have those things in place. So I would say that's the number one complaint or question that I get very often, is how secure are the buildings? Are we running students through metal detectors every day?
All right, staying on that issue before we get to the second one, have we had any incidents?
In the buildings?
Yeah.
No, we have not.
All right, so therefore the safety things are working?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Move on. I don't want to go into something else and go back.
No. And I would say a far number two down the line is, okay, my son or daughter may not be getting what they feel that they need to be getting, or the parents feel that they need to be getting out of the education. So I ask them, what questions do you have of me? What questions do you have of the curriculum? And then try to answer that as best as I can to the questions or concerns that mom or dad have.
Okay, staying on that point, that's a question too. Okay, there's advanced classes, I would assume.
Yes,
okay.
we do.
So now, when there's an abruption there, someone comes in and maybe doesn't understand English or etc., begins to retard the educational program for that, and that's where I've seen where people say, look, we have nothing against these people coming into the thing, but when they're going into a class and then they're slowing down the educational process of my kid, I don't think that's fair. These are some of the concerns I have. How do you address those things?
Right. So we provide different programming for all of our students. There may be AP courses that Some higher flying students will take honors courses, regular courses. There's special education courses that we offer students that may not be up to par with some of the other students in the district. They have an individualized education plan that helps support their academics and their behavioral situations that they may be dealing with. But we have, again, going back to what I had said earlier, we educate the whole student. We educate the entire student, not just a portion of. So those students that may come in and don't know English, we have ELL educators in place that will help them learn English, help them with the coursework, help them with the curriculum, and move them forward.
Guidance counselors, okay, there are specific needs that certain students need, okay? How do you evaluate these needs? Is it through parent consultation or guardian consultations, or is it through the student saying, you know, I don't know what I want to do, I want to go advanced college preparatory or in the trades? I mean, the trades are unbelievable today. I mean, hopefully we'll do the Career Center someday.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just unbelievable what can happen with that. So how do you address the specific needs?
All the above. We listen to parents. They come in and they say, okay, my child or I want them to go in this direction. So we'll try to work their schedule in that specific direction, if the child can handle that specific direction. We will listen to the guidance counselors. We look at grades. We look at behaviors. We look at the different athletic events that they may be in, the extracurricular programs that they're in, and try to build, again, going back to that whole child, but build that schedule and to help promote them to wherever they feel that they want to go once they leave us at the end of their career.
Another question is why do we need so many administrators? Why do we have 16,000 assistant superintendents, et cetera, et cetera? I'm just exaggerating.
Sure.
But I mean, Sammy, why do they have all these administrators? So I would think every administrator has specific duties and responsibilities. So let's break those down as to why you do have assistant superintendents.
Sure. So I have three. I have three assistants, and they're assistants to the superintendent. And the only difference with the two in there means that they don't have a commission. I'm the only person in the district that has a commission that and is on a 5-year contract. So every five years, the board looks at it and says, do we retain him or do we not? Sure. So I've been fortunate enough, the board has kept me here, and this is where I will obviously retire from when the time comes. But the assistants too, we have Dr. Patrick Patty. He is assistant to the superintendent for curriculum, assessment, and instruction. He does curriculum. He does the PSSA assessments. He does keystones. He does that portion of the district, and he, lack of a better term, answers to me. So we sit and we collaborate quite often on the direction of what that curriculum may look like, what those assessments may look like. Do we need to change the curriculum here to address assessment needs in this area? The next person would be Mr. C. Daniel Rogers. He's assistant to the superintendent for human resources. He does all the hiring, interviews, looking over applications, assisting with the different contracts that we have across the district and the different unions that we have. We have 5 different unions, so we have to address 5 different contracts. And then third is Mr. Robert Mahalik, and he is assistant to the superintendent for student services. He does like a hodgepodge of everything. Everything student service related, that's registration, child accounting, cyber academy, you name it, kind of falls under his umbrella. And again, all 3 of them answered to me.
And it's just interesting because if you don't know the qualifications of the people you just mentioned, okay, then you wonder, okay, but once you begin to do some research and you break it down and you see who you just mentioned, those names you just mentioned, and the talent and education and knowledge that they bring to the district's invaluable.
Correct.
I mean, Bob and Dan, and they all have the qualities, and I wrote here, what about the quality of education? Because we have to have administrators who have that quality. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. If you have administrators that don't value education, the education isn't going to go anywhere. That building, I'll just pick on buildings for this second, but if that administrator in the building that's running that building doesn't value education, those students aren't going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
So they have to value it, they have to enjoy what they do, and they have to exude that energy to their staff and their staff to the students.
And then, Brian, that filters down to the principals.
Absolutely.
It fits, in every individual principal. So if you look at, you put a spotlight in every school and every principal and administrators and the teachers, okay?
Right.
If you have that quality and that passion, and that's why I think our school district really sits above, okay, and doesn't fall into that national situation
right.
where, we're low in we're low in math, we're low in science, etc. Keeping administrators and principals and teachers who are qualified, it's interesting because you have the question as well. He knew her because that's why she got the job, he got the job. I had that too, but the thing was, if it was my brother, if my brother was totally qualified for that position, don't penalize my brother because I'm on the board.
Correct.
Don't penalize him because of what he could bring or she could bring. Right. So I understand that, those things happen, but he got his job because he knows Sam Lesante. He got his job. No.
Right.
I don't think it works that way.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. We hire on qualifications.
Folks, I'm talking to Dr. Uplinger. We're talking about what's happening in the school district and accountability. When you see what's happening in this country today and you just shake your head. I mean, I have people come up and say, Sammy, we never realized the mess. And you could see why there's fighting to stop the fraud that's going on, because there's a lot of shams, a lot of people got money, never did what they had to do. Billions of dollars of your taxpayers just wasted. But yet, we have our veterans begging for $19 a month so they could have a decent living. We'll be back right after this. Well, welcome back to the Hazleton Area School District Report. We do it every month, and remember we have other reports. We have the Schuylkill Report, we have the Luzerne County Community College Report, we have Mayor Cassatt's report, and of course the Hazleton Area School District Report, giving you information every month what's happening. My email, sam@ssptv.com. You have any questions or any comments, just let me know. My guest today is Dr. Uplinger, and we're talking about accountability. We're talking about what's happening in the school district. For those in Luzerne County, your millage is 13 plus. In the Schuylkill County, it's 38 plus. Now remember, it's 50% of their assessment, so it's basically $19 per thousand, and the carbon is 27 mils. Same thing with carbon, about 50% of that. That's what you're paying. So no matter what you're paying it. Are you getting your money's worth? And that's what we're talking about today. School board members, extremely, extremely important, my friends. Vote for those people that are qualified. And we have a great school board. Let's not mess it up, okay? Let's not mess it up. Things are doing great. We have and for those people who are running, God bless them. If they bring talents, not agendas, because you're paying for those agendas, okay? I get a little, I get a little riled with that. And I'll tell you why. I've lived it. And I've seen how people get ripped off, and I've seen how people are bitter, and they run for school board, and they don't really, I'll get them. I can't wait to get in because I'm going to get them. What does that tell you about what they're going to do as quality of education concerned, Brian? Okay?
Right.
And unfortunately, you have to live with that.
Correct.
Okay? Yes. And that's where it becomes really frustrating. And I'm hoping and praying that we continue to get qualified people on the board. We have them now. I just hope that who's ever running has and there are a couple good people running, but what do they bring to the board? With that being said, I ask you, can we honestly tell those people who are paying taxes, school taxes, are they getting their value?
100%, 150%, I should say. We implement a very rigorous curriculum. We implement a very rigorous CTC program. It's board approved, it's state approved. We utilize the state standards in addressing the curriculum and in writing the curriculum. The other piece of that comes in with our parents and our students. They want the education. We give them the tools to be educated. We give them the processes that will help them be educated, but they want to have it. We can't force them to take the education. They have to want it. So we do provide those tools for everyone.
There are certain trends that happen in the country in education. What is and we talked about the Career Center, okay? The opportunities out there for plumbers, electricians, and just unbelievable, and we need them, okay?
Right.
What are some of the trends that are happening that you've seen throughout the years as a superintendent?
There was a push a few years ago, college, 100%. Everybody needs to go to college to better themselves in the workforce. We're finding that, and I had always said this, college isn't for everyone. I'll be the first to admit that, that not everybody's ready for college and not everybody wants to go to college. So there are different opportunities now that we're finally getting to, and it's coming full circle, are the trades. You don't necessarily have to go to college to get a trade. We supply that individual that wants to go through our Career Center with the tools necessary to take on that trade. Welding, diesel mechanic, auto mechanic, you name it, culinary. We have the programs there. We just added a new program for the students, and that's to help support our businesses that are coming to the area, industry. So we have those tools available for the students, and again, they don't have to go to college, but we have great colleges in the area that will allow them to come in for associate degrees or bachelor's degrees. You can get your doctorate in many different areas. So again, those trends are changing, and we're seeing that they don't have to go to college.
Phil, and again, we have great colleges. Unfortunately, some colleges now are now on their own agendas, and that's sad.
Correct.
But you take Luzerne County Community College, perfect fit. Perfect fit for those people who just want to specifically highlight on different things, arts, creativities, or welding, or the careers.
Correct.
It's perfect, okay? And as you see, college isn't for everyone. Sometimes people say you go into college smart, you come out stupid, okay? Which means, you learn, if you're learning properly. It's unfortunate. I've seen throughout the years, and I could say this without question, I've seen some great colleges become ruined because of political influences.
Correct.
I've seen religious colleges ruined because they don't live up to what they're all about, okay?
Right.
And they lie to you. My opinion, this is my opinion, they lie and and that's so sad. But when you hold people accountable, that's when I think, you're showing your true colors, okay? And that's, I'm very happy that you are open, okay? I've never found anybody as open as a superintendent as you are, and it's important.
Thank you.
What do you think, we got 2 minutes left, what do you think, Brian, the public should know, and hopefully we'll, try to get the Career Center and show different divisions in the next shows, but what do you think the public should know about the Hazleton Area School District?
Again, going back to what you just said, we're open. We're very transparent. There's nothing we hide. We do educate, again, the whole child. We don't just think about test scores. We don't just look at what the state mandates us to do, 45-page book that we have that there are unfunded mandates that we have to abide by, and which is insane. We should be here to educate, not worried about mandates.
They have to justify their jobs.
Right, they do. But if there are any questions that anyone ever has, they can reach out to me very easily through email, give me a call. I'm available, and I've always said that. I've always done that. I've always returned calls and returned emails as quickly as I can. Obviously, it's a very big business, if you will. So it's difficult to get right back to people, but it does take a little time. But please reach out if you have any questions.
242 million, and of course about 80% of that is wages, and a
Correct.
big part of
Yes.
that. Okay, so you're managing,
Right.
40 some million dollars. I see here the state's giving us 138 million.
Correct.
And we're still not getting our fair share.
No, we're not. We're not.
And that's another thing, my friends. We're not getting our fair share. The Hazleton Area School District, their teachers, their administrators, what I've seen, second to none. Believe me. And those aides, those teachers' aides, I mean, I just, they do great jobs. They
do.
really do. They
do.
fill that need, and I like to see some of them because they're always happy, they're pleasant, and sometimes these kids can drive you crazy to a degree, Brian, I'm looking forward to the next show, okay? And he said, my email is sam@ssptv.com. I just, hopefully you got a better understanding of where the money's going, and so when you're paying those taxes, we hate to pay taxes, at least you know you're getting some value from that. We'll see you next time.